So in this video, we're going to be exploring the concept of selection, which is basically a point in the code, alright, where you execute sequentially, and at some point of time you want to make some decision. Alright, so when you want to make some decision, you can have multiple pathways, alright, and then from there we are going to decide which pathway to take. Okay, so in this first video on selection, I'm going to talk about a very simple concept known as if. Okay, so what is if? If means I check for some condition is true. Alright, now usually if can be alone, or we can say if else. Alright, if else means you have two pathways. Alright, now I will show you both if and if else, and so that you can understand, okay, how this works. Alright, and the application we're going to, or the code that we're going to write for is going to be a simple code, and what we want to do is whether a student has passed a module. Okay, so we're going to ask the user to enter the marks, right, and if the marks is greater than or equal to 50, then we say the student has passed. Alright, so in this case we are going to do a check for this condition. Okay, and this will provide us two pathways, true and false. Okay, now let's go ahead and do this code first. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the user to enter the marks. Alright, so to gather user input, we say use the input keyword. Alright, and since we want to do some mathematical comparison with it, we cast it to an integer. Alright, so this will ask the user to enter the marks, and we are going to store it in a variable called marks. Okay, now how do I do the check? So I can say if. Alright, now the brackets are not necessary, alright, but it's good practice to have brackets so as to be clear on what is the condition you're checking for. Okay, so I'm just going to put it as marks greater than equal to 50. Okay, and at the end of each of these if or else statements, you need to put a colon. Alright, so this is important. Alright, if not, it will be flagged off as an error when you're trying to run the code. Alright, so after an if statement, when I press the enter button, you will see that automatically I have moved one tab inside. Okay, so you can see that I did not go back to the start of the earlier sentences or statements, but I have moved one tab inside. Okay, so Python is sensitive to this tab. So anything that is one tab inside following an if statement belongs to that if block. Alright, if I go in all the way, that means I start from the beginning, then it does not belong to the if block. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a statement here that says print you passed. Alright, so let's just go ahead and run the code as it is. Okay, now what we expect is if I enter a mark value greater than or equal to 50, I will say that you passed. Alright, so that is what we're going to be testing right now. Okay, so I'm still connecting to the back end. Alright, connected, so it's running. Alright, so let's enter the marks. Okay, so let's key in a value that is greater than or equal to 50. So let's key in maybe 81. It says you passed. Alright, so what has happened? I have satisfied this condition. Alright, I satisfy this condition true. So what I can do is I can say you passed. Alright, now if I do not satisfy this condition, what happens? Okay, what happens? Let's try this now. So if I run this again, and if I key in a value, let's say 45, what happens? Nothing happens. Okay, there is no printout. Okay, because this print statement is only tied to the if condition. Okay, so this is what we call a single if statement. Okay, a single if statement. So in this case, what happens is I have the end of the program here. Okay, and if the condition is true, I print out you pass. If not, I just go to end of the program. Okay, that is what is happening right now. Alright, now just to make sure that we are actually going to the end of the program, alright, I'm going to put one more print statement, okay, after this, and I'm going to put it back to the start. That means not one tab in, but back to the same starting place or starting cursor position as the earlier code. So I'm going to say print end of program. Okay, so now if I run it and I key in a value greater than 50, greater than or equal to 50, I will print you passed because I satisfy this condition, and I print the end of program. Okay, because this line end of program is always executed regardless of whether the condition is satisfied. Okay, so let me just show you that. If I key in a value 32, it will say end of program. Okay, why? Because I do not satisfy this condition, so this print statement that belongs to the if check is not executed, but the next statement is a separate statement that is after the if block, so it is always executed. Okay, so coming back here, what I have done is I have modified this code here a bit to say that I will always print, okay, I will print end of program, okay, and then only I will go to the end. Alright, so that is just a single if. Alright, so sometimes in the code you just want to have a single if to check for some condition. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this a bit to include the else. So if else means you have two pathways and I want to do something for both pathways. So for the if, we know we're going to say you passed. Now for the else statement, again you need to put a colon, and as you can see, once I put the colon and I press enter, I automatically move one tab inside. Alright, so I'm going to say print. Alright, so we're going to say try harder. Alright, so now what is happening is we have two possible pathways. If this condition is satisfied, I will execute this statement. If not, I automatically execute this statement. Alright, so I will print one of these two statements and then I will print end of program. Okay, so let's run the code. Okay, so again let me put in a value greater than 50. So this is what we saw just now. You passed end of program. Alright, now let me key in another value. Let's say 31. And now you see that I did not satisfy the if condition, which means I will automatically execute the else condition. Alright, which says print harder and then end of program. Okay, so in terms of the flow chart, basically what we are doing is we are now adding a new statement here for the else. Okay, which says try harder. Okay, and then I go and print end of program. Alright, so this is basically the flow chart and the code, alright, for the if else block. Alright, so I hope you have a good idea right now how to implement if else in your code. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.